it takes over you, takes over your mind, takes over your body, takes over your soul. Like, oh, it's just awful. But today I wanted to speak to you about the 12 steps and what the 12 steps of recovery are. My experience is through the NA fellowship. I'm just going to give you a bit of a brief summary of them all, and I will probably go into a lot more detail of each of the steps in different episodes. Okay, so there's 12 steps, and it basically takes you on this huge journey, ridiculously huge journey of finding yourself, finding who you are, understanding who you are, understanding your patterns of behaviours, your patterns of thinking, what you like, what you don't like, and it helps you just really start your life again. As well as all of that, it's a guide to life. I thought I knew how to live my life until I came into recovery, and when I came into recovery I really did not know how to live life. I knew how to live life as a kid and a teenager, but I didn't grow up from that. I was just all about, as soon as I got money in the bank, it was a case spend, party, have no responsibility, didn't care about anybody. I just did what I wanted to do, and I think it's a very like a teen mentality, but with the 12 steps it really helps me like put people first. To be fair, I did used to, like, actually I shouldn't say that, because I always used to put people first. I was a bit of a people pleaser, to be fair, but I don't know, it just helps you really like just see the bigger picture with things instead of it all being so self-consuming and self-obsessive. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's pretty much what the 12 steps did for me. So step one is you admitting you're powerless to drugs or mind-altering substances or whatever your addiction may be, sex, gambling, food, etc. You are powerless to that. And when I say you're powerless to that, you are wanting to stop, but you for some odd reason you just cannot for the life of you stop. Is completely like it takes over you, takes over your mind, takes over your body, takes over your soul. Like, oh, it's just awful. But no matter what you try and do, whether it's drink a little, change your drink, change your drug, change your friends, change your surroundings, change whatever it may be, you always seem to come back to it. That was for me, for my own experience. So I've done a geographical, I think it lasted 2 weeks before I was picking up that drug. I've changed friendship groups multiple times. I've changed my drug over and over again. Always ended up addicted to that substance, always took it too far. Yeah, did the whole thing of trying to just have a couple of pints at the pub, always ends up 6 in the morning in someone's kitchen. It's just that constant, like, you're trying to do all of these things. And that's another thing I had to try and do as well. Try to tell myself I was really fit and healthy because I got 2 PTs at the same time. Who the fuck in their right mind thinks getting 2 PTs, paying for 2 PTs is acceptable behaviour? And then I was going out every weekend getting absolutely obliterated, and in my head I was like, yes, balanced lifestyle, and I was getting myself in more debt. Like, what? Ridiculous, insane. So yeah, step one is powerless, and within that step you really go through, it lays everything out on the table. You talk about all the things that you've done, the situations you put yourself in, whether the lying that you've done, the manipulating that you've done, the maybe cheating, the stuff that you've done to your friends, that you've done to your family. Like, it's really intense. It's not for the faint-hearted. And I think that's why a lot of people don't do it, because they're afraid to look at themselves. But it really helps you see how powerless you are to that substance. And it says about the insanity that you do. And the meaning of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and it's just never ever different. It's always the same. And for me, it was always so much debt, ruining relationships, and me being upset and down, and obviously by the end of it suicidal. So yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. But step one really helps you see that. So step two is having the willingness of believing in a higher power. And this is where a lot of people run away from the rooms, because they think higher power, God, religion, control, blah, 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 blah. And I totally understand that. Coming from an Islamic background, I've got a lot of religious trauma. I just totally get why people run away from it. But when you're realising in step one that you're powerless over this substance, then there's only another thing. You have to find something that's greater, that's a power greater than you, this obsession, everything around you that can help you get over this powerlessness. And at this point in your step work, for me, I didn't have a clue what my higher power was. It changed daily. And to be fair, over 3.5 years in, and it still changes a lot. I sometimes go down the Islamic route and I pray to Allah. I sometimes just say God. I sometimes just look at nature, the trees, because to me there is something, when I look at my journey of addiction and all the times that I put myself in some serious, dangerous situations and I've come out of that, there has to be something in my eyes that there must be something that's looking out for me. I don't know what it is. I don't have a clue what it is. I don't understand religion. I'm so against the whole control thing when it comes to religions. But having a faith that there is something greater than me, whether it's the universe, energy, the rooms, just people speaking to somebody, that action is an energy, and that to me is a power greater than me. And that is all step two is all about. It's just having a willingness to be open-minded about maybe there is something out there that can help me, and I need to put my trust into that. And like I said, that changes daily for me, because it's a whole crazy world out there. But I think there's always been something within me that's quite spiritual, and so I did find being more spiritual and looking at nature and looking at energy, I find that easier to tap into rather than religion as such. But yeah, and then step three is actually kind of calling upon this energy. They say in the NA program that if you are able to understand step 1, 2 and 3 and apply step 1, 2 and 3, that they are your foundations. If you can think about building a house, you need to have your foundations. So step 1, 2 and 3 are the foundations of your recovery. And how I apply those in my daily life is that any situation that I'm in, I really am powerless over most things. So for instance, if I was in an argument with somebody, I would use step 1, as in, instead of trying to control the situation or trying to change the situation or whatever it may be, I have to then say look, it's out of my control, I'm powerless over this. So that's step 1. Step 2 is having faith that there's a reason of why that situation's happened, why the argument's happening, or why that whatever it may be is happening. And then step 3 is handing it over to whatever that higher power is. I use that daily, those 3 steps, I use that all the time, like all the time, because I was somebody that always wanted to control situations, that always wanted to make everybody happy, make my family, my friends, I just like everyone be okay, be okay, be okay. Whereas now it's like, you know what, I'm fucking powerless over everybody. Everyone's living their own lives, you know what I mean? And that, by doing all of that, so freeing. So freeing. Yeah, so those are the first 3 steps, and then goes on to step 4. Now step 4, everyone gets scared of step 4, because it is the moral inventory. Now I personally think step 4 is just the most freeing step there is. It's incredible of what it does, but it is not nice going through it. It is really not nice because you're having to really dig deep and write down stuff that you may have locked in boxes in your mind for a long time, around relationships, around abuse, around trauma, just around some dark shit. But like, so freeing to be able to write everything down and get everything on paper and then share it with your sponsor. For the first time, I shared stuff that I had never ever shared with anybody until I shared it with my sponsor. I didn't even realise, but by doing that, it was actually, there was one thing that I shared about, and I've only just really realised that by me sharing that one thing, even though I didn't do anything about it, I skimmed over it quite fast, to be fair, but it ignited something for me to want to change something and really want me to work onto this, and made me realise, like, shit, that actually wasn't right. That's how, like, freeing that can be. It makes you see things that you may have pushed down so much, that you didn't even have any emotions towards it because you pushed it right down, but it brings it all up to the surface, and it allows you to finally start working through those things. It's all about, obviously, and that can take years. So just reading out your step 4 isn't going to fix anything or anything like that. It just kind of like highlights everything, but it allows you to share it with another person and just get it out. Get that guilt and shame just out. I remember I did my step 4 and it was like a good few hours I was with my sponsor. But yeah, and it was emotional. But it was really, really good. But it allows you as well to see your part in things. Now, obviously, say for instance, you were abused as a kid, you totally don't have any part in that. Do you know what I mean? So it's not saying that, but what it does is helps you see. So from my experience, my parents splitting up was so traumatic to me, but me at 20 something years old using my parents' divorce as a way to use constantly and actually create more damage in my family's relationships. That's my part in things, not my parents' divorce. My parents' divorce is that's still a thing, that's still a trauma that I went through, and it's not denying that. But me 20 years later still using on that, when in fact I could have actually accepted it, worked on it, gone to therapy, worked through it, etc., but I chose not to. That's my part in things, and that's what I really have to look at. And again, harsh reality sometimes, and a lot of people don't want to do that, because they don't want to face up on those things, and they don't feel like it's fair. Like, I know some people will be watching this and be like, no, you don't understand what I went through. I get that. I totally understand, because I was the same when I was first doing it. But the more time has gone on, I understand that, like, if I accepted things and if I actually worked through them, or if I pushed through certain pains, etc., and got the help sooner. So step 4 helps you identify a lot of things, starts to help you see your patterns of behaviour as well. So for instance, I really used men as validation big time, and I saw all of that, and I saw the fact that I used to go to toxic men, and that toxic behaviour repeat, because it's what I thought I knew. Do you know what I mean? But it's allows me now to make those changes and say, no, I don't want that anymore. This is a pattern that I'm always usually in. I can either carry on going down that, or I can make a change. And yes, that change may be uncomfortable, but at least I'm making those changes. But yeah, step 4, super freeing, really intense, but super freeing. Right, so I'm gonna leave it there for this episode, but come back and we're gonna go through steps 5, 6, 7, and 8 next. So we'll leave it there, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.